Tim asked Dan and me to share a little bit about what it's like living as Gentiles in the land of Israel, the land of Jesus' birth, and then also with regard to the biblical feasts, maybe which one of those or ones of those have particular significance for us. So Dan and I would say that it is incredibly fascinating and equally frustrating to live as followers of Jesus in the land of Israel, the land of his birth, living among secular Jews for whom any other belief system besides Christianity is very much accepted. Now, we also know how blessed we are to live in Israel, to be here and see the biblical feasts being observed and celebrated. And that's a note because you can't talk about the celebration of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. Jews observe but don't celebrate Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It's the most somber day on the Jewish calendar. But at the opposite extreme from that is Purim. And Purim could be compared to, in America, Halloween. Here in Israel, Israeli adults and children dress up in costume. And if you asked an Israeli what the celebration of Purim includes, many of them would tell you that they are commanded in the Torah. Now, we know it's not there, but they would say that they are commanded to drink to excess, drinking to the point that you can't tell the difference between wicked Haman and righteous Mordecai. So that's a frustrating part of living here in Israel. But there is a feast that for me carries quite a bit of significance as we talk about the Feast of First Fruits. Now there are a lot of farmers here, so whether we're talking about as farmers bringing in that first crop, the first fruits in the early part of the year, or whether we're talking about as believers, because Dan and I are working, sharing the gospel with the Druze who live in the Golan Heights of northern Israel. They are as equally hard-hearted as the Jews here in the land. So at times the work is very slow and seems unfruitful. So the Feast of First Fruits is significant for me because as we toil, as we labor in the hard soil of the Druze hearts, I'm reminded of what it says on a note about the Feast of First Fruits in the Complete Jewish Study Bible that we have. And it says, the Feast of First Fruits, in that feast, God's faithfulness, providing the early wheat harvest, increases faith for an abundant fall harvest. Giving thanks for present provision leads to faith for future fruit. So as we look at Jesus, who was the first fruit of the resurrection, we have that hope as believers. And as we work the current provision, God's faithfulness and provision increases our faith for the future fruit to come among the Druze.